Today, I want to share top 3 skills that are seriously underrated for digital marketing and paid search specifically. Okay, the first one is advanced Excel knowledge. I cannot stress enough how much you will be working with Excel. And it's not just pivot tables and VLOOKUPs that you will be required to use. You will use Excel for uploading new campaigns via Google Ads Editor to make bid adjustments in bulk, and then again upload it back through Editor to create reports for your clients and maybe to look for some optimization opportunities. At one of the agencies I worked before, we use Google Sheets and Supermetrics to put together tables and reports for our clients. So Supermetrics would get data from Google Ads and Google Analytics, and Google Sheets works in exactly the same way as Excel. So there will be formula-driven tables that will update daily to show up-to-date performance. So to be able to troubleshoot those tables, you really need to know a lot of advanced formulas. Obviously, agencies vary in their usage of tools, but you cannot go wrong knowing advanced Excel. I recommend a Udemy course that I did, and I'll link it down below. I'm not sponsored by Udemy, but if Udemy wants to reach out to me, well, I'm here. Anyway, important skill number 2 is business writing. So it might not seem like a big deal, but it actually is, especially for those of us who work in digital marketing and paid search. You know how important is attention to detail in our day-to-day work, because one little mistake can spend thousands of clients' funds. So when you write an email and there is a typo or some other silly mistake, it kind of shows them maybe you don't really have that attention to detail. Should you really be trusted with a new client? It's best that you don't have that there at all. What I personally do to ensure that my emails look nice, I use Grammarly, and one of my colleagues suggested to use it. I used it for a while, for a couple of months as a free version, and then I really enjoyed it. So now I'm using paid version, which helps to kind of advise you more which words you can swap. So sort of like a synonym help. And also it tells you the mood of your text. So it'll tell you, oh, this sounds joyful, this sounds professional, this sounds happy. So I feel it's worth the money. It's also important that your emails are well structured, concise, and it's easy to understand them. It's important to keep in mind who you address that email, who will be reading it. Because in paid search and in digital marketing in general, you can really have some quite complicated lingo for someone to understand. So if you write an email to just a general marketing person, they might not even know what CTR is or CTA. So CTR, like click-through rate, or CTA, call to action. So I would always spell it out if I know that the person is not really into digital marketing too much. It kind of depends. Some companies choose to rely more on agencies, but when you write a report or an email, just try to keep that in mind and make sure that they really understand what you're talking about. But if you write to somebody who is on agency side and they're also doing PPC or SEO, chances are they'll probably really understand what you talk about. So you can really go write a very technical email there. I would also suggest reading through blogs or books on how to improve your writing. One thing that I recently learned, maybe you know this already, for example, when you follow up on something with your client, you don't put follow up as a subject line. Well, we all did that in my old agency, so I did it too. But it's a lot better to just reserve the subject line to the topic of the email. So say you want to follow up on conversions, so you say conversions, and then somewhere in the email you would mention are there any updates? So that would be a lot neater way to find it out. And the final skill number 3, is building relationships with your clients. It might sound silly, but I mention it here because I have been told to do so on one of my reviews at digital marketing agency. So apparently I wasn't doing it enough. And indeed, whenever I was writing emails to the clients, I kind of always would stick to the subject matter. And it's good to imagine that your client is in the same office as you are. You would probably know a lot more about them. You'd know whether they have a dog or a cat, what's their favorite sport. So it's nice to kind of include that in an email as well. Ask them about their weekend before you dive into the topic. So those are 3 skills that I would really advise you to develop. And just to quickly recap, so advanced Excel skills, business writing, and ability to build relationships, professional relationships with your clients. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.